Hey, look, good morning. It's Dominic Steele in Daily Bible Time and Wednesday morning, and looking forward to seeing you Christmas Eve 9 p.m. at church or Christmas Day at Village Church. And I do thank God for the great kids ministry team that we've had serving, doing such marvellous work the last 2 days, working so hard, looking after those kids and teaching them Jesus. Lovely barbecue with parents yesterday after watching a fun Christmas play. And we are in 1 Corinthians 13 today. And what is love? Well, verses 4 to 6 of 1 Corinthians 13, there is a description of what love is and then what love isn't. Love is not an idea. It's not just a motivation. Love is different. It's a different category to the gifts. It's not sentimental. It's totally practical. Love is a behaviour. And when you read this list here in 1 Corinthians 13, everything in the list is behavioural. Love is the way in which the gifts are to function. And it's the most excellent way. 1 Corinthians 13 verse 1, it's a way beyond comparison. And the verbs, the behaviour verbs, are verbs that are totally appropriate for the situation in Corinth, and yet they transcend Corinth and speak to us amazingly today. Let's start with the positive. Verse 4, love is patient. Love is kind. Now, patient is a passive word, but kind is an active word. God in his attitude to me, to you, is patient. For the Lord a day is like 1,000 years. He's patient with you, not wanting anyone to perish. I mean, I deserve the judgment of God. You deserve the judgment of God. But he is so patient. God is kind to me in Christ Jesus. 1,000-fold expression of his mercy, extended to me in the forgiveness that I and you do not deserve. Love is kind. The thing about God's love is it is so self-originating, so altruistic. God doesn't love the world because it's lovely. God just can't help himself. It's in his nature. He loves because of who he is. Contrastingly, there's a rebuke for the Corinthians. In chapter 11, the rich Corinthians sat down for the Lord's Supper without waiting for the poor ones to arrive. And they weren't patient. They weren't kind. At that point, it was just 2 chapters ago. And so, I mean, we did a little exercise at a community group where this word love appears. We're going through the community group and we just tried it out. Dominic is patient. Dominic is kind. It doesn't work. It doesn't fit. Dominic does not envy. Dominic is not boastful. It doesn't fit. I don't know if you've tried that out, but it doesn't work. You read the expression, love is patient, love is kind. You think, actually, you could say Jesus is patient. Jesus is kind. So when I read this passage, 1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 through 6, I shouldn't feel affirmed. I should feel challenged. I should feel rebuked even. I've given something to work towards, something to aspire to. A work to ask God to complete by his power of his Spirit in my nature. And actually think, oh look, I long to love like God. I long to have that self-originating, that God-originating love. I long to be transformed by his Spirit. Now, let's keep pursuing this love isn't for a moment. Love does not envy. I mean, and if there ever was a church where people envied each other, it's the Corinthian church. For in chapter 3, verse 4, he says, since there's jealousy and quarrelling among you, are you not worldly? Are you not acting like mere men? The Corinthian church was a church characterized by envy, jealousy, and love does not envy. And even in this dispute over tongues, those who didn't have the gift of tongues were jealous, envying those who did. Love does not envy. Love is not boastful. And again, Paul's not praising them here, he's rebuking them here. The Corinthians wanted the showy gifts. They wanted, in 3:18, they thought of themselves as having wisdom. In 8:2, they thought of themselves as having knowledge. And then there's this group here in 12 to 14 that thought they were special. They boasted because they did speak in tongues. And yet boasting and love are incompatible. For love wants the other's good, the good of the community, whereas boasting wants the other to think highly of you. Love does not boast. Love is not conceited. Love is not proud, to be proud or puffed up or conceited or arrogant. That word appears 6 times in the New Testament. 5 of those times are in 1 Corinthians. 1 is here in 1 Corinthians 13 to describe what love isn't. And the other 4 times the word appears is to describe what the Corinthians are. The Corinthians were accused by Paul of being puffed up and proud. and love is not proud. Let's do a little more on this tomorrow on Daily Bible Time. Thanks for joining us this morning, this Wednesday morning. Looking forward to seeing you at Village Church on Friday night, Christmas Eve, Saturday, Christmas Day. God bless.